So here's something I want you to sit with for a second. You hired a marketing agency, you spent the money, you ran the ads, you got the website, maybe you even got some leads, and then it just didn't work. The business didn't grow the way that you thought it would. And now you're sitting there wondering, is marketing a scam? Do these agencies actually do anything? Or is there something else going on here that maybe nobody told you about? I'm going to tell you what that something else is. And it's honestly not what most people would expect. My name's Adam Silverman, and I am the founder of Muletown Digital. And my business partner, Aaron, and we consider ourselves growth architects, not really just a marketing agency. And I want to spend the next few minutes explaining exactly what that means, why it matters, and why it might be the reason that your marketing hasn't worked out the way you hoped. This video is for business owners who have already tried marketing and felt like they got burned. You've been there, you signed a contract, you pay the retainer, the agency said all the right things in the sales call, and a few months in, you're looking at the numbers and nothing's really moved, at least not in any way that actually mattered. So, not in the way that what showed up in your bank account changed, right? And here's the thing, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the agency wasn't competent. Some of them are really, really good at what they do. But the problem goes so much deeper than just what is the agency doing. The problem is that traditional marketing agencies are built to do one thing, and it's produce marketing. And producing marketing is not the same thing as pulling levers that grow a business. And I want to take a minute and kind of explain what I mean. Marketing agencies are technicians. Growth architects are diagnosticians. Most agencies come at your business from the outside in. Their job, as they define it, is to expose your business to the world. Give the name out, drive traffic, bring leads, run the ads, build the site. That's it. That's the full scope of what an agency typically feels responsible for. And look, that has a legit place. There's nothing wrong with wanting a great creative or great technical execution. But here's where it breaks down. When you hire a technician to do a job, they're going to do that job whether or not it's the right solution for what you actually need. So think about it this way. If you walk into your doctor's office and you go, I need antibiotics, a good doctor doesn't just go, here you go. They're going to ask questions, right? They diagnose, they figure out whether antibiotics are even a treatment that's an option, right? A bad doctor goes, here's the prescription. You wanted it and I'm giving it to you. Whether it helps or not, that's kind of on you. And a lot of marketing agencies are writing prescriptions without doing the diagnosis. And that is the fundamental difference between what they do and what Muletown Digital does. When a new client comes to us, before we touch a single ad or write a line of code, we try to understand their business as a whole. You can't market your way out of a business problem. Here's the hard truth that nobody in the marketing world ever wants to say out loud. If there is a problem in your business, in your operations, in your delivery, in your pricing, in your team, marketing will not fix it. In a lot of cases, actually, marketing will make it worse because now you've got more people coming and experiencing the problems that you already have, but they're experiencing it in a higher and more intense volume. So we have clients who come to us thinking what they need is more leads. And when we dig in, the issue isn't lead gen. The issue is that they couldn't close the leads they had, or they couldn't fulfill orders fast enough, or they had too many products and variations, like just a mess where they don't even know what's profitable, what they're selling. Is it profitable or not? And realistically, that creates a really big set of issues. We had a client that we took over where their marketing had been on autopilot for a long time, ads running, sites live, products out there, but there was nobody steering the ship. The people running the business were so buried in the delivery side and in the sales and running the business, nobody could really look at the marketing strategy from an outside perspective. So what ends up happening is you get a bunch of products in there. You don't know which ones are making you money. You don't know what ads are running. You don't know which ones are working. There's just a ton of activity and a bunch of inbound mess, and there's just no clarity there. So when we come in and sit down for an entire day and dig into a business, we see the operations, the financials, the product line, the people. And at the end, we're able to call a growth architect plan into place, a real picture of where the business was, where it needed to go, and what actually needed to happen in order to get there. That kind of conversation literally never happens with a normal marketing agency because that is not what a marketing agency, creative agency, branding agency, tech agency, it's not what they think their job is. At Muletown Digital, when engaged to do so, we look at all the parts of the business that most agencies never see. Let me be specific about what this might be. We can look at P&Ls, not because we're an accountant, but because if we don't understand your margins, we cannot tell you whether your ads are working or whether you're literally spending money to lose money. And that happens a lot. We look at cost of goods sold, your COGS, because if your ROAS target is set wrong, all the great creative in the world is not going to bring you a profitable ad spend. We have to think about seasonality. The right product to push in March might be different from the one that you're pushing in October or for Black Friday in November, right? We actually look at how you deliver your product and service if that's a problem. Because if there's a bottleneck in delivery and scaling, your marketing will create chaos, not growth. It will just ruin your business, right? So we even can sometimes look at personnel because sometimes that can be a bottleneck. We're not trying to take over your business. We're trying to help guide so that marketing is effective. Now, here's what I want to be clear about. Ultimately, the business running is your job, and you know your business way better than we ever will. But we operate our marketing agency like we own a part of your business. We think like owners, not vendors. And that's a very different frame from an agency that shows up, does the work they're paid to do, sends a report, and calls it a good month, right? The question we ask ourselves is not, did we do the deliverable? The question we're asking is this growing the business? Is it growing profitably? Is it set up to scale? If the answer is no, we need to know why, even if the answer is something that doesn't have anything to do with the marketing effort. So Muletown Digital operates a lot more like a general contractor than a specialist. I want to give you a mental model for kind of how this works. Think about building a house. You don't hire an electrician to oversee the whole project. You hire a general contractor. The general contractor sees the whole picture: foundation, frame, plumbing, electric, finishes, and they coordinate all of those things so the house comes out together as a single item that you're going to live in. That is literally what we do. We can do deep branding work. We can build very difficult things. We can run ads, do SEO, GEO, build websites, you name it. But all those things exist in a service of a single goal: growing your business profitably. When we need a specialist, if we don't have it on our team, we bring one. But it's our job to make sure the whole thing fits together, and it's our job to make sure that what we're building actually is going to get you to where you're going. The difference between a GC and a specialist is the specialist is only responsible for their part of the picture. The general contractor is ultimately responsible for the result. Muletown Digital wants to be responsible for the result. So I want to be honest with you about something. This kind of partnership, real growth architecture, is not a passive thing for the business owner. It requires you to be in it with us and us to believe in what you're doing. When we sit down for an initial strategy, we need access to things. We need to understand your numbers, your real operations, the things that are working and the things that aren't. We need to have a business owner that's willing to have an honest conversation about what the business actually looks like right now, not just what they maybe think it should look like or want it to look like. We're looking for transparency. And then we both have to do the work. It's not something that happens overnight either. Real sustainable growth takes time. It takes trust. It takes both sides showing up consistently to do this, right? What I can tell you is this: when that combination is there, when the business owner is engaged and we're fully in it together, there is magic that occurs there between our teams, not just traffic numbers or click-through rates, CPCs. real business outcomes, revenue, profitability, growth that actually shows up in the way that your company runs. So let me pull all this together. A traditional marketing agency focuses on producing marketing. That's their job. They're often very, very good at it. A growth architect looks at the whole business first. We diagnose before we prescribe. We look at your margins, your ops, your products, your team, not because we're trying to run your business. And this is where people get confused. We actually are not trying to do that. We are trying to help you grow it, and we can't do it without understanding it. So we have to show up like owners. We have to think about profitability and not just activity. We're responsible for the result, not just the deliverable. And we do all that in partnership with you because the best outcomes occur when we're both, our business and yours, are fully in it. If your marketing hasn't worked in the past, I'd encourage you to ask yourself, did anyone look at the whole business before they started spending money? Because in most cases, that's where the breakdown happens. And that is what derails the train off the tracks and causes people to be like, my marketing didn't work. If this has resonated with you, if you're frustrated with your marketing or your business and it's just nothing's moving the needle, we would love to talk to you. We don't do big sales pitches. We want to have conversations about where you are right now and whether what we do actually makes sense to help you. There should be a link below. If you're reading this in a blog, if you're on YouTube, there should be a link below. But if you go to muletowndigital.com/connect, you'll be able to connect with us there. So if you found this video helpful, share it with a different business owner because a lot of people out there are spending money on marketing right now that's ultimately not going to help them. And it's not because marketing sucks or is fake. It's because nobody ever stopped to look at the whole business first. So that is the big thing that we do at Muletown Digital. And like I said before, we're very particular about who we do this with. Not every business we talk to is a match, but if it is a match, we can definitely help you drive your business forward by growth architecting the next set of actions that have to be done for you to be successful. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.